Dan Blocker, the actor best known for playing the lovable and gentle Hoss Cartwright on the iconic television western Bonanza, remains one of the most cherished figures in classic American television. While the title of a recent fictional headline may suggest a shocking revelation, at 67, Dan Blocker finally admits what we all suspected: in reality, such a statement would be impossible. Blocker sadly passed away at the age of 43 in 1972. However, what fans continue to suspect or believe about him is based on the legacy he left behind, the values he lived by, and the love he inspired in audiences that still endures decades after his passing. Dan Blocker was born in Texas in 1928 and stood out early in life, not only because of his large physical frame — he weighed over 275 pounds and stood more than 6 feet tall — but also because of his gentle personality and intellect. Contrary to the rough-and-tumble cowboy he often portrayed, Blocker was an educated and thoughtful man. Before acting, he earned a master's degree and worked as a teacher. He also served in the U.S. Army during the Korean War, where he earned a Purple Heart, showing bravery that paralleled the strength of the characters he later portrayed on screen. His big break came with Bonanza, one of the most successful and long-running westerns in television history. Blocker played Hoss Cartwright, the middle son in the Cartwright family, and quickly became a fan favorite. Hoss was kind, honest, and big-hearted, traits that matched Dan Blocker's real-life personality so closely that it was hard to distinguish the actor from the character. His performance brought warmth and humor to the show, making him a central figure and an emotional anchor for viewers. Blocker never needed to admit who he really was; his authenticity was always apparent. If there was anything fans suspected but never heard Blocker say out loud, it was how deeply he cared for his work, his family, and the people he worked with. Though private by nature, those who knew him described him as a loyal friend, a generous colleague, and a man of principle. He valued honesty and kindness, and these values informed both his personal and professional lives. While he may not have given lengthy interviews or sought the spotlight beyond his role, everything he did seemed to speak volumes about who he was. Dan Blocker's death in 1972 came as a shock to fans and colleagues alike. He died unexpectedly from complications following surgery, and his passing left a major void in Bonanza. It was one of the first times a television show had to deal with the real-life death of a main character. The series chose to acknowledge Hoss's absence directly rather than replacing or ignoring the character. That decision was a testament to how vital Blocker was to the heart of the show and to how much respect he commanded among the cast and crew. Though he never lived to see older age or offer reflections in his 60s or beyond, his legacy continues through the work of his children and the memories of those who knew him. His son, Dirk Blocker, has gone on to have his own successful acting career, most notably appearing in the series Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Dirk has often spoken of his father's influence and the deep love and admiration he holds for the man behind Hoss Cartwright. So what do fans still suspect about Dan Blocker? They suspect, perhaps, that he was even more kind-hearted than he let on. That his character wasn't just acting, but a real expression of his soul. That if he were here today, he'd still be making people smile with his humility and humor. In essence, what people always believed about Dan Blocker was true: he was a gentle giant, a rare blend of strength and kindness, and a figure whose presence made the world just a bit warmer. At 67, had he lived, Dan Blocker wouldn't have needed to admit anything shocking or secret. Instead, he might have simply confirmed what his fans always knew in their hearts: that the man who played Hoss Cartwright was just as genuine, loving, and honorable as the character he brought to life. And that kind of truth never needed a headline to matter. It just lived in the way he made people feel, and still does.